You're standing in the kitchen holding the fridge door open, and you can't remember why you walked over. No crisis, no deadline, just an ordinary Wednesday. Yet your head feels like a browser with 40 tabs open. You've tried to just stop thinking. It doesn't work. Psychology tells a different story. Your brain isn't tired because too much happened. It's full because too much never finished. 6 hidden processes explain exactly why your mind won't go quiet, and the last one changes what rest actually means. Trait 1. Somewhere in your head, there's a list of unfinished things, and your brain refuses to let you forget a single one of them. This is the Zeigarnik Effect, the same reason waiters can remember an entire table's order perfectly, right up until the bill is paid, and then forget it instantly. Unfinished tasks get flagged as active. Finished ones get released. Here's the strange part. Your brain doesn't just do this with tasks. It does it with unanswered texts, unresolved arguments, unspoken thoughts, decisions you keep circling back to without ever landing on one. Every one of them stays open. Not because you're choosing to think about them, but because your brain filed them as unfinished business. And unfinished business doesn't go quiet just because you'd like it to. So the fullness you feel isn't random noise. It's an actual list, running in the background, and every open item on it is quietly asking to be checked on. Maybe it's the reply you've been meaning to send for 4 days. Maybe it's the decision about whether to say something to a friend. Small on their own, but your brain doesn't file them as small. It files them as open, and open means active. Trait 2. Your working memory can hold about 4 things at once, and right now, it's already spoken for. This is cognitive load theory. Your conscious mind isn't a hard drive with endless space. It's more like a small desk that can fit a handful of items before something has to fall off the edge. And here's what almost nobody realizes about that desk. It doesn't clear itself between tasks. The email you were half answering, the errand you didn't finish planning, the thing you meant to say back to someone, they all still take up a seat, even while you're doing something else entirely. So when a new thought needs space, there isn't any. Your brain has to shove something aside just to let it in, and that shoving is exactly what mental fullness feels like from the inside. It's why you can walk into a room and lose the thought mid-step, not because the thought was weak, but because something else was already sitting in the one open seat. If this is already sounding familiar, the next 3 traits go somewhere most people never think to look. And the last one is the one that actually explains why doing less never seems to fix it. Hit subscribe if you want the rest laid out clearly. Trait 3. Every time you switch tasks, you don't fully leave the last one behind. Some part of your attention stays there. This is called attention residue. When you move from one thing to another before the first one felt resolved, a portion of your focus lingers on it, even while your eyes are on something new. And the strange part isn't that this happens once. It's that most days, it happens dozens of times, email to conversation to phone to task and back, and each switch leaves behind its own small residue. A 10-second glance at your phone mid-task doesn't cost 10 seconds. It costs a slice of focus that doesn't fully come back, even after you've put the phone down. None of those residues are big enough to notice on their own. But by the afternoon, you're not thinking about one thing. You're dragging pieces of 11 half-finished ones and calling the result can't concentrate. Trait 4. Some of what's crowding your head isn't a task at all. It's your brain treating an old, unresolved feeling as an active threat that still needs watching. This is what rumination actually is underneath the surface. Not overthinking for no reason, monitoring. Your brain replays an unresolved conflict or a moment that didn't go the way it should have, because as far as it's concerned, unresolved means unsafe, and unsafe things don't get filed away. But here's what nobody tells you about that part. The replaying isn't your brain being dramatic. It's your brain trying to solve something it was never given a real resolution to, and it will keep running the same loop until it gets one, or until you give it a fake sense of closure it can wrongly accept instead. You know the moment, lying in bed, replaying a conversation from 3 years ago, rewriting your side of it for the 5th time. That's not your brain being stuck on something small. That's a threat monitor still waiting for evidence the danger actually passed. By now you've probably noticed something the first 3 traits don't fully explain. If all of this is just background processing, why does it feel like it's actively draining you and not just quietly running? That's exactly where the next trait goes. Trait 5. Every one of those open loops costs you the same limited resource, and by evening, that resource is close to empty. This is decision fatigue, except it's not only about decisions. It's about the finite pool of mental energy your brain spends on holding things open, switching between them, and monitoring the ones marked unsafe. That pool doesn't refill during the day, it only drains. And the strange part isn't that you run out. It's what running out actually looks like, not collapse. Just a quiet drop into snapping faster, deciding worse, and feeling like your own thoughts are suddenly too loud to sit with. By 9 p.m., choosing what to eat can feel harder than anything you did at work, the same resource, spent down to the bottom of the tank. By the time you're standing in front of that open fridge, you're not confused. You're just out of the exact resource that was supposed to help you remember why you walked over. The final trait is different from all the others because it isn't another reason your head feels full. It's the actual mechanism for making it quiet again. Trait 6. Your brain cannot tell the difference between important and unfinished, which means peace was never about doing less. Here's the piece almost nobody explains clearly. Your mind doesn't rank its open loops by how much they matter. A half-written email and an unresolved argument with someone you love get filed the exact same way. Open, unresolved, still requiring attention. Size doesn't close a loop, closure does. This is why an empty schedule doesn't always bring quiet, and a full one doesn't always bring chaos. What determines the noise in your head isn't how much is happening. It's how many things are still marked open when the day ends. Which means rest was never going to come from doing less. It comes from actually finishing things, writing the message you keep rehearsing, naming the feeling you keep circling, closing the loop instead of just muting it for a few hours. You were never bad at relaxing, or scattered, or too much in your own head. You were built with a mind that takes its unfinished business seriously, and it's simply been given too many open files, for too long, with too few of them ever closed. Which open loop have you been carrying the longest? Drop it in the comments, let's talk about it there.